Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stanley Museum of Art. My name is Corey Gunlock. I'm the curator of African art here at the Stanley Museum, and it's really wonderful to see so many people here tonight. Thank you for joining us. It's my honor and true pleasure to welcome Julien Creuzet and Aguibou Sanou for our program tonight. And I want to thank the Henry Luce Foundation for making this program possible. This is the last in a series of artist conversations represented here at the museum. I hope you've had a chance to see Julien Creuzet's work upstairs, and tonight we will see through a video performance by Aguibou Sanou. So just to give you a little bit of background about the wonderful artists joining us this evening, Aguibou Sanou is an assistant professor in the Department of Theater, Dance, and Performance Studies at Grinnell College. A multidisciplinary artist from Burkina Faso, Sanou is a dancer, choreographer, musician, storyteller, and the founder and director of both the In-Out Dance and World Arts Festival and Arts Green Culture, a creative and ecological space in Burkina Faso. In 2018 and 19, Sanou was awarded the prestigious Fulbright Scholarship by the U.S. State Department, completing an artist residency at Naugatuck Valley Community College in Waterbury, Connecticut. He taught history and appreciation of world dance and developed a curriculum focused on African traditional and contemporary dance there. He rose to international attention in 2016 as a semifinalist for Africa's Got Talent. Julien Creuzet is a French Caribbean artist who lives and works in Paris. A visual artist and poet, he actively intertwines these two practices via amalgams of sculpture, installation, and textual intervention that address his own diasporic experience and his relationship to his ancestral home, Martinique, which he refers to as the heart of my imagination. Inspired by the poetic and philosophical reflections of the French Martinican writers Aimé Césaire, Edouard Glissant on creolization and migration, Creuzet's work focuses on the troubled intersection between Caribbean histories and the events of European modernity. Creuzet's distinctive sculptural language often repurposes found materials, relics of detritus washed ashore by oceans, or the unrelenting progress of history. Throughout his work, Creuzet creates a dialogue with the question of emancipation and the legacy of the Caribbean diaspora as it exists today. I'd like to point out that I first encountered Julien's work during a visit to Sao Paulo for the Biennale there, and I was immediately struck by its power and its beauty, its complexity, and its levity. His work addresses some very difficult moments in global history, and he brings an incredibly fresh and innovative approach to this subject matter artistically. So I'm honored to have you here today with us, Julien. And Aguibou, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I first met Aguibou during his visit to the Stanley Museum of Art in the early stages of a development that he's working on called Mask Utopias, which we'll learn more about tonight. And it's been a true pleasure to get to know Aguibou as well and to understand his relationship to our collection specifically, in relation to his work in Burkina Faso, where I've done research as well. So we have a very meaningful relationship between these artists' works and the collection here at the Stanley Museum of Art. So please join me in welcoming Aguibou Sanou and Julien Creuzet. And we will begin with this video by Aguibou Sanou.
The war is going to start now. The warriors have to leave their families and all the persons they love to go to the battlefield. Their hearts are beating so hard. They are afraid. Fear is a normal feeling, a natural feeling. Their souls are ready for the fight, but their hearts are not. But even if they are afraid, they know the battlefield is for them the only place to be. And even if fear is natural, there is no other human feeling that is stronger than war. The real fighters are on the front line. They are courageous. They are strong. We are all fighters here. In our individual lives, our wars, the warrior is taken by the war spirit. He takes a breath. And he knows this breath can be. This breath can be the last one. Each breath is a real grace. That's why the warrior is stronger than anybody else. Keep on fighting, warrior. We all count on you. He has no control of his body and soul. We are all responsible of climate change. The way we live leads to the destruction of the only planet where we can live. We are the destroyers of the earth, of the water, of the animals. We are the killers. up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, keep on waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking.
Thank you so much for sharing your work. I'd like to begin by just sharing with the audience the basic facts about what we've just viewed in terms of the title of the performance and the video and the title of the installation and when the work was done. Could you share that with our audience?
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Some people knows my phobia. I don't love my voice in microphone. I'll try. So I said, thank you so much for having us here. Thank you. I feel so privileged. And thank you for making it and staying for about an hour. Thank you, my folks from Grinnell College, for making it also feel supported. The work you saw, the title is Rebours in French. Rebours means countdown, and related to mask and several other topics. So we will go in deep later. Let you talk.
It was how it's possible to make an archive of one exhibition, and how it's possible to navigate inside the artwork and try make video restitution about a show physical. You need to walk on, see the detail of the sculpture, the detail of the painting, and how you can try to share some distance between the artwork, mix with a question of light, question of mixing media also, with the videos, for example, the atmosphere of the soundtrack of the show. And inside the video you have all the soundtrack of the show, and it's like a 23-minute experience for have a sensation of what is the exhibition. And we start this discussion about where from the statute inside the work, for example, and I tell you, Cory, don't have rupture between artwork and between exhibition, and all the time have like a continuity. And the first time when the statue appeared, it was in this exhibition in the south of France. The name of the city is Arles, in the Fondation Luma. And it was like a possibility to ask or question art history, specifically surrealism, the relation between André Breton and Aimé Césaire or Wilfredo Lam, for example. The moment during the Second War, this character go to Martinique. A certain idea of surrealism, like Aimé Césaire give like a certain possibility surrealism. It was like a possibility for a group of thinkers to refine like a primitive resource, and for refine this primitive resource and try to create what means surrealism. Actually, it was the possibility to take a look in African history and African representation, specifically statues. That was like a beginning why I was interested about. And the second idea was, if you remember maybe this interesting film about Chris Marker and Alain Resnais, when the statue die, quand les statues meurent aussi. The postulat was when the statue lost the social function and arrived inside the museum, he arrived like artworks. And he lost every social function, and very often we lost every function of the object, why he exists, why he produces, and in which condition is social function working. And one idea is, with technology, we can try to give one possibility about the social function of the object. And for that, I'm work with Anna P. She's here. And Anna, she's a choreographer who have knowledge about Afro-diasporic dance and resistance Afro-diasporic dance also. And that was how, for example, it's possible today to think about like a statue from Bakongo, for example, was sculpted in the wood part. And the question of the morphology of the statute was in the same layer or same materiality with the question of the pedestal. For example, the pedestal is also the part of the wood was sculpted. And if Anna give his movement with her proportion, and we had human proportion inside a part of wood, and the worm, for example, was fixed close to the bodies. The foot was fixed on the pedestal. What happened? And maybe we can refine some emotion, some beauty, and some magical perspective. And that happened with the technology, and you have like some possibility, and see the video upstairs.
Thank you. Well, you preempted my question, which was brilliant, about the general role of using historical African figure sculpture in your work and why. And I think it's useful to reiterate the possibilities of technology that you use to reanimate these historical figures. And so I want to offer the same question to you, Aguibou, in terms of your selection process for which particular kinds of objects you incorporate into your work. There's a consistent emphasis, Julien, on minkisi, Congolese power figures, and I'd love to hear more about that. And that's what drew me to your work in relation to our own collection. Here at the Stanley Museum of Art, we have a very strong collection of figure sculpture from from the Congo, and so there's a clear relationship with figures in your work to the collection here. And we've talked about this earlier today in terms of how that creates a connection in your work to Iowa City, regardless of the history in Brazil that you explore in Zumbi Zumbi Eterno. And Aguibou, your incorporation of masks from Burkina, as well as other types of masks. I'd love to hear you talk more about that.
Thank you. Well, first, in our language, now I'm talking about Burkina and not the entire Burkina, because Burkina is like 70 plus ethnic groups, and each ethnic group has its own way to do their own tradition, so completely different. Talking about the Bobo ethnic and the Mandingo blacksmith sides, I will say we do not have the word mask in our vocabulary. It doesn't exist. We call them Do, D-O, or Lo, L-O, and we say those who came from the bush. They are the being, the entity coming from the bush. The word mask, it doesn't exist. And the second thing I would like to emphasize also is we tend to call this thing mask. This is only the head. So in my language, we'll say the head of, because we also have the body. So to come back to your question, I try to see what kind of, I will use the word mask because we are in the US and in academia, so to talk the same language. Yeah, there are some masks we cannot use them to perform without without their context. So they are sacred, S-A-C-R-E-D. And as you know, you need to be, in French we say, laver la figure, initiate, to wash your face in order to open your eyes, which means to initiate you to do those masks. So it's interesting because in this work, in our context, physical female body is not allowed to wear the mask. So I was trying to see how can I come to something closer to the mask I wanted to represent. And we call a contemporary mask maker to design something that will be close. But at the end, the buffalo mask that you see is the real one and worn by the two male dancers, and then they use only the head because we are not allowed to use the body on the stage. So going further and connecting to what my brother just said, I will say it figurine, and stop me if the mask from Bakongo that we said, we related that mostly to what we call boli, because it's like one piece. And boli is, and I can call it hotel in French. Maybe, how do you say in English?
Altar.
Oh, say again?
Altar.
Oh, where you go to worship, you know. So it's one of our artifacts, one of our ancient technology that we use to connect with our entities and our ancestors. So to make the choice, I was like in this liminal space of like not offended, you know, the tradition, and at the same time trying to bring the tradition into a contemporary space.
I'd like to make sure we leave enough time and space for the audience to engage with you as well. There's just a couple more questions that you can either address now or perhaps later. There's an element with your work that is directly about utopia and also ecological and environmental crisis. And so you create this immediate tension between death and this sort of eternity, which you mentioned directly in your work, Zumbi Zumbi Eterno, which is juxtaposed with death in terms of Zumbi and its American context of zombies that you mention in your work in reference to Hollywood. So both of you are creating this tension between death and life and utopia, eternity. And Julien, we were talking about zombies, and here we are in America during October, where a lot of people celebrate Halloween. And you talk about Hollywood and zombies, and specifically in your work. Can you talk more about that in terms of what it means in that particular work that's upstairs in the gallery?
The name of the work is Zumbi Zumbi Eterno, and I try to make a distinction between Zumbi and zombie, and that is maybe difficult. The first one is Zumbi dos Palmares. The black leader in Brazil was it was like make a resistance during the colonial system, and with an idea of a place of resistance called Quilombo. And Quilombo for me make a resonance with my culture, with a certain idea of maroon and marronage, and I'm understand with the possibility to go to Brazil what's mean marronage, because I'm from an island, Martinique. It's 100 kilometers long, 45 kilometers large, and the possibility to have like a city with a resistance without the colonial system, it is impossible, because if you make music, people hear you. If you make a smoking fire for cook, people see you also, and it's very easy to find you, because the Martinique is very small. And in Brazil, you understand the immensity of the country, also because the pays is massive, and have like for me some connection with United States also. And I'm sure have place of resistance. And Zumbi dos Palmares was like arrested and killed. And in this moment, the concept of what's mean today zombie not exist. And the concept of zombie arrive 20 years after zombie pass, and that for me was interesting. And the possibility and art, it's for that, for create possibility. It was think about if the word of zombie, the word we use actually, it was created for stop the possibility, think about a black leader can resist a colonial system, it's possible. And that for me was really interesting to say, okay, maybe this word of zombie start to exist for stop the idea and the legendary of someone can resist. And his name is Zumbi dos Palmares. And that for me, it's really interesting. The second thing is also, we use zombie with a certain type of representation with cinema, but we use also for precarity. We use for people who was in distress in the streets, people in the precarity with drug. And that is terrible, to give this sense for people need some help, need you to help. And I'm start to play with that. And one other subject was the question of zombification, and specifically why the history start to take and focus for create the mythology of what means zombie now, and for example what means zombie during Halloween, for example. And one anthropologue work for the University of Harvard go to Haiti, and for different reasons, make research about what means the process of zombification and how people do for that. And it is really interesting because people not die. It was how it possible for a specific society arrive with the slave trade, for example. It's knowledge. How it's possible make a own justice without the colonial justice for many social reasons, and that was really important. And this anthropologue, his name is Davis Wade, and he make these crazy books, and that for me it's not important, but he do that for one reason, because the university and the context of the research try a way to send people on march. And if we arrive to reproduce, for example, the concept of zombification, maybe it can help people go to march. I'm explaining. Zombification is like some two molecules used and can make the bodies in 0.01% of its activity. That is really interesting. And with another molecule, it's possible to reactivate the bodies and have like a certain line of existence. And that was why this researcher was interested. Because if we have this knowledge, maybe we can put people on the on the ship, on the Starlink, for example, and send on march with 0.1 activity, and it's better because the travel is so long. That was why people was interested about that. And he finds some knowledge, and he decide make like a book, a success book, and make Hollywood movie and play with that and not respect the knowledge people decide to give to him with a certain idea of we need to have like reconnaissance of your university because it's prestigious for people stop to create like a certain imaginary of Haiti or what's mean Vodou culture, and we need to have your help to share. It is like a knowledge, an ancestral knowledge.
Thank you.
I just would like to add on that. Thank you so much for sharing this. I love saying that what in Western society call Vodou, I call it very advanced science. You know.
I'd love to take some questions from the audience at this point. I think I just saw a hand up over here, in fact. Yeah.
Here?
No? Okay. I thought I saw your hand up.
Like there? Yeah.
The performance had like really beautiful music. It was exceptional. Can you tell us about the inspiration behind the sounds, the chants, and the instrumentals?
Oh.
When I'm think about an exhibition, I'm not imagining this moment like a silent moment, and I'm not understand, for example, why a library need to practice in silence. I have the sensation I have too many words and too many books and too many voices, and it's make me feel about a cacophony. And I would like to live a certain experience of library like that. And for the exhibition, I would adjust if the vision, it is a sense. I would like to smell also, I would like to hear also, and I would like touch and use the different possibility, and the sculpture or a certain idea of what means installation in art history offer us the possibility to extend the sense of the bodies and amplify, and the music start to be part of exhibition with, and give me the possibility to put the exhibition with a temporality of experience, a possibility to use poetry also, use lyrics, use history, and mix what you see and what you hear in the same time, and use the influence I like, and I'm saying it's my voice. Some track I'm compose, sometimes I invite some composer. For that one, it was a composer accompanied me called Timothée Saran, etc., etc.
Thank you. I love saying that I learned one word, a lot of words my students are teaching me. I'm the student of my students. But one word people in administration use to qualify or to design, foreigner in the US is alien. So I said, that is true, we are all alien, but before this alien came to in transition into human being, we need, it does music and dance. I'm talking about, these 6 billion aliens that become all of us champions, right? So, and life is about music and dance for me, heartbeat, and being like lullaby by mom, singing, swinging, dancing, moving. So I cannot imagine dance without music. By the way, in Bamanan language, dance means don, and music means egg of dance, the egg of dance, So we can even back home, we can debate which one is the egg, which one is who's like older than who, chicken or egg, we don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I literally composed the music of every single of my dance piece, every single. Specifically for this, I said every single nation have a drum, and drum are made based, and especially military drum are made based on the heartbeat. That's why the most of case when you heard about military drum, you are like afraid, or you are like attentive. So they know exactly how they made it. So from this drum, I said, and drum was used before war to make communication in our case. We have special drum, we just play them maybe once every 10 years. So I found the connection between one ethnic group, Samo in Burkina Faso. They have a music, and the music of Raven, the bolero of Raven, I found the similarity. So I said, we can play about this ta 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 ta, and the sound music, dang 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 dang. So I found really the commonality between these two music. I say, how can we add? You will help me to translate that. Ajouter something. De l'utile à l'agréable. Now I wanted you to translate, and I'm speaking in English at the same time. Say add something useful to something that can bring also pleasure. But I'm lucky enough to have always live professional musician at my disposal to create with. Yeah.
thank you both for sharing your work. I had a question for both of you about how are you thinking about rhythm and breathing when composing a space and/or setting for your work? Yes, I had a question about how you're thinking about rhythm and breathing when composing a space and/or setting for your work.
I will try. First, I just would like to make sure that I'm in the same level of you, what you call resetting.
Like setting the stage.
Oh, okay. For me, that is my truth, not the only one, right? Breathing is rhythmic, so it's part of the music. Silence is part of the music. Otherwise, we will be inside the cacophony, as my brother just said. Even that cacophony is a music too, you know. I grew up learning from my mom all the history of the Mandingo Empire, the Mali Empire, through music. And music in music by instrument and also song. So every single song taught us something about our kingdom. That's how we kept the story. So setting, now according to what I'm doing, what kind of topic I'm exploring, I try to bring the tradition into the space, and bringing something traditional into a new space become automatically for me contemporary. So I try to respect the traditional design, how things used to be. I don't know if I reply. If not, please ask again.
One exhibition is like I like exhibition, and I make artwork because I'm like exhibition. I mean, I like how different form can create like a language, could create like a discussion, and in the same time, I'm think about which word can be interesting to share, and how it's possible to extend the story or the question of the narrative in the same time. And I like also the idea of cinema, and how cinema can make like an interesting parallel between image and sound, and how sound sometimes it's totally opposite of the image and create like a clash. I'm trying to do that also inside an exhibition space, to understand how the bodies can receive what you see, how the music can be like, how the sound can be like a moment of contrast, and how when is the interstice or the space for the voice and for the narrative. And it's like a specific moment of kitchen, difficult to explain, but it's the moment of I don't know. It's this moment, and I think it's for me important. People have like the bodies was affect and have moment for his own interpretation, and have his own space between the music, what have to see, etc.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering for both of you, as people who speak multiple languages, what role choosing the languages that you use in the vocalization of your pieces holds, and how that relates to the audience or the intention of the piece, or where you find that reasoning.
We speak about the word and the lyrics. Very often we not give like a lettre de noblesse for the poetry. And poetry, it's also an artwork, it's also a form. And for me, I don't have a distinction between a poetry text and a sculpture and a video and a sound piece. And we need, in an artistic way, continue to extend the possibility what's mean an artistic form, and that thing not stop. And some people need to read because read can activate some part of the mind, and this word also can continue to exist during the experience of the exhibition, and also after. And for example, if you take an image of, I don't know, this sentence, very often we have this practice, make a still of videos with a subtitle. And we like that because we like the sentence relate with the image. Also, I give all the time the poetry and the text is really accessible, and you can keep it. Sometimes it is the part of a video, the part of like a booklet, and I like that. And sometimes the poetry is also always the poetry is the title of the artwork. Like a poetry is a form accompany another form, and I like the idea of relation. For me, the question of the title is really important, and it's not only like about subjectivity, it's also about a more bigger potentiality. And if you can't take with you the form you see in the museum, you can have like the text with you for a long time. And it's a possibility to be more generous, and you can read the text during a rainy day, for example. Something can happen, and you can read the text 10 years after, maybe something can happen. And yes, it's what I would like to do.
I will try. I'll try. English for me is my fifth language. So when I'm creating, and I learned first something from one of the very famous movie actor and storyteller and griot, patriarch of griot from Burkina Faso, Sotigi Kouyaté, who transitioned a few years ago. He said, when you direct something on stage, it doesn't matter if you speak in Japanese or in Bambara or in Taiwanese. If it works, it works. The most important thing is how those that you invite to share with, how they will catch the soul of what you are sharing. So that keep resonating in my spirit and my body. And when I came here in the United States to study, one of my professor, and he became my mentor, that I would like to say hi at the same time, Dr. Thomas de France, encouraged me a lot to write in my language, one of my languages. So that helped me to think before in my language and dream in my language, and then translate into French and translate into English. So creating, coming back to the question, creating, for me, the most important thing is how we share emotions, how we share feeling, how we share something that is common for all the human being we are.
So many questions. Okay, I saw your hand first, but probably just because I was right here.
In the video of the dance performance, I noticed that one of the performers was occasionally on the dance floor stage playing a string instrument, violin or viola maybe, and I was just wondering why that instrument being played by a performer and like all the other instruments were kind of off to the side, like what was the intention or reasoning behind that?
Oh, thank you. That was the choice of the director and choreographer, because she was at the same time dancing and playing music, and the other sides, there are so many musicians. There was like 6 or 7. So technically, in order to have her on the stage quickly, I think the easy way was to keep her in that side until we decided to take her out of stage and be with all the other musicians. It was like a directing decision.
Hi, thank you so much. So I know with both of your work, you're interested in like the whole decolonizing about like, you know, the dark like African history and everything, and like bringing it into a new light. I'm just curious, since there's so much that that visually I've seen, that I'm thinking about like what part of that are you trying to like tell from like the perspective of you know, the history of like their Caribbean and Burkina Faso, or is it more in terms of the act of like actually performing it and presenting it from your eyes?
I'm not sure that I receive it. That's me, not you. So so that's why I love saying I'll try again. If I'm not in the right way, please say oh, this is the way, you know. Yeah. Aguibou is one of the series of performances I'll make and under the umbrella of Mask Utopia. Now I will open the book. Mask Utopia is this questioning, a lot of question about the role of African in general, and particularly in Mandingo, and then focused in Burkina and Bobo Dioulasso. Bobo mask exhibited in Western Museum, because those masks in our context, they are not only object, they are being. And in our society, we don't have museum. It doesn't exist. Every single thing we have is to be used, and after either we destroy because they are not anymore in use, or we store them somewhere, but they are still being using, even they are, you know, behind the scene. I will go quickly. When I came here in Iowa, now the state, in Grinnell, I saw one mask downstairs in Grinnell Museum gallery, and this mask was not, it was a real mask for our worshipping. It was not something to play with, you know. So I wonder how this spiritual artifact travel from one place to another. We try to trace, there is no way to trace that. And then my colleague from Grinnell College invited me to have a nice conversation and meet Corey for the first time. We came here nicely. Corey make us visiting a beautiful exhibition. In that exhibition, I found one mask, and that is specifically from Burkina Faso, but not only from Bobo ethnic group, not only, but for my family. And then I asked the same question, say, what are you doing here? You know, so Mask Utopia is this kind of a performance to bring question on the table, question that I do not have the answer alone myself, but to open the conversation like this so that we can collectively try at least to find responses and say, hey, how about to bring some copy? It's possible. We have so many copy in miniature of Statue de la Liberté. And maybe in grandeur nature in China, they have Statue de la Liberté. Anyway, that's, voilà. So Basque Utopia is about that, not only to talk about decolonization, but to go further, say how do we send back also these spiritual objects, this so-called religious object. Yeah.
This is an interesting question. It is an interesting question, but in my perspective, the most beautiful thing is try to understand how it's possible live together. I think that it's more interesting human perspective for the future, and for that, I think we need to understand more each other, know more, learn more about what happened in the past, but not like an inquisitive perspective, just for understand more how it's possible to do better. And I think we do that, I don't know, the question of the psychanalyst, for example, it's a way to learn about you yourself, what inside you, for understand you better, for have like maybe a better perspective, a better negotiation with yourself, and have like some place really important in this planet. It's place where we can dream, and that place it's museum, it's like a theater, it's like a space of concert, etc., and that every artist give like a possibility or some perspective how it's possible to share a simple experience, complex experience, and very often it's a question of how we can learn better about myself, about yourself, about the society, and some people in this society have like, and specifically people in the new world, I make a distinction with the old world and Europe, have like a rupture about history, some of them. And for example, you understand, for example, have many enterprises now make monies with the idea of the DNA test. And why it's so famous, the DNA test? Many people would like to do it. Many people would like to do it for a simple question, because it's about what is my history, and how I can understand myself, or maybe how I can understand my identity. And it's not only for Afro-diasporic person, it's for many people live in this continent. And that give like some content to rethink or start to redream again. And that it is for me important. For example, when we use technology to make move in the Bakongo statute, it's not in decolonial perspective, it's about dream perspective. It's about how it's possible to rethink about the necessity and what's mean this object in an affective way. And that is also fantastic, have the possibility to have place to extend the what's mean imaginary, extend the question of the beauty, amplify the question of what's mean exotism, for example, And for me, exotism need to reinvent every day. And for that, we have like new tools, gives the possibility to amplify new perspective, like a fictional perspective, to live better in the future.
Hi, thanks so much. So as I understand it, masks are often used in African context to channel ancestors or to relate to gods. So I was wondering if there were any ideas about relationships with ancestors or gods that informed your work that we saw.
Okay. The drummer with the long drum. He was doing what we call incantation. And this incantation, you say incantation, right? This incantation was like calling ancestral spirit, ancestral energy, and the supreme entity energy to support the dancer, the warrior, for the fight. And I would like also to thank you for this question, to emphasize that I don't know about all Africa, huge, maybe 5 times the US, I might be wrong, but at least 3 times. But in Mandingo culture, we know that there is only one God since the creation of this, and we worship only one God. My mom used to say that foreigner has big eyes but cannot see. So I don't know how some people landed in our territory and witness innocent people worshiping God and asking their ancestor to, in French we say intercede, to channel their message to the Supreme One, because we strongly believe that those who transition know better the truth than us. They know if Jesus will come back or not. They are all there. No one went there and come back until today. So we said, hey, you are there, you know the truth, please help us to channel this thing to the Supreme One. And so the artifact, the technology we are using are not our gods. I would like just to share that, specifically for Manding, we don't have 10,000 gods and goddesses like in India. We have one God, and we have knowledges, very advanced sciences to reach out to God. And yeah, I will stop here. Otherwise, I will keep going. Yeah. So the drama was like calling ancestral spirit to bring some positive energy to the warrior.
So my question's for Julien. In the exhibition we saw, you have those pieces where you've built a sort of structure and stretched things between it, and they're floating. And I'm curious if you could talk a little bit more about why you choose that way to present it and kind of how that functions within that full exhibition of like your video work and all of that.
You speak the form look like a canvas?
Yeah, the ones that have like the bars around and it's
okay.
in the middle.
The space was like a basement floor with a very, very long. It's like maybe you understand. It's like a more 700 meters square, and very very long and short, large, and with one entrance, and the ceiling is very low, and you have like a sensation of the space when you see everything immediately. It's reason I'm like make exhibition, because it's not make exhibition. It's not only make a. It's also think about how you would like to architecturate your story, your artwork, etc. And you need to think. The first thing is how you navigate inside the space. And sometimes you can think about a certain type of artwork, very contextualized, and can working specifically for the way we would like to share what you have to share. And in the same time, I need the transparency. In the same time, I'm play with this technology holographic for share the statutes, and I need to continue to play with this transparency and not give everything in one time. And I need to architecturate how it's possible to navigate with many possibilities for people navigate inside. Don't have a specific way, because very often when you have one entrance, you know the show is like that. But that it's really difficult. And if when you make this way, you see everything is terrible, because you start to be, I don't know the word, but you understand what I mean, when you come back. And you need to think every parameter and understand how a sculpture can have like some resistance about the questions of viewing. What I'm see in this face, what I'm see in the opposite face, how it can give like some surprise or not surprise, how it can help to navigate inside and have a moment of epiphany, etc., etc.
This is probably our last question.
One last question for the both of you. I'm curious as to the liminal space created in both of your works, especially with your dance and using the mask, or the heads, and with your work using the minkisi and their dance. Also the figures created by the sculptures kind of operating as bodies, thinking about if the masks were whole, or if the head and body was whole, and how it operates as a connection between the metaphysical and physical realm for the wearers. And I'm curious if that's in your thoughts at all, and if it is, I would like you to talk about it a little bit.
It's really, really interesting. I'm traveling back in the time. You know, the liminal space that you are talking in this specific work, I mentioned before that in Bobo tribe and Bobo ethnic in blacksmith, women, they don't wear mask. But something really interesting is happening, because we do have a sacred mask and we have profane mask, non-sacred. I love to say that. So the sacred mask, you have to be initiated and everything involved with. And the profane was supposed to be for everybody. But somehow the profane became close to the sacred. So they said even the profane woman cannot wear. So I try to understand. I'm still understanding. So I said, how can we also, at the same time, I share something with us. At the same time, one of the charter of Monday, the 44 article of Monday, said to include women in every single activity, 1236. This charter. So seeing that women are excluded for the mask community, I brought other masks and I make them wearing it on the stage. The drummer with the long drum is a real mask drum player. And he was using the real drum they use to accompany sacred mask. And he was playing with the woman that was like wearing mask. So I try to play in this kind of wire and, paying closer attention and bringing something new on the, something else, not something new, something else on the discussion table. And then talking about this visible and invisible, part of the incantation was also the dancer who started dancing, the female dancer at the beginning, Korotimi, she easily go into trance. By the way, the word day in our context, West Africa, Mandingo, Mali Empire, they are used for those who are living with other entities, and they can go easily in communication with these entities, and they are not faking. I'm not saying, I say in this context, in Burkina Faso. So one of the incantation was to calm the spirit down in order to have a beautiful performances. But trust me, before we jump into stage, it was tough, really tough. So we even didn't know that we will be able to perform. So it was like, at the same time, performing for the profane and also trying to deal with the sacred and say, please, we know, but let us do this.
In my case, I'm playing with a more fictional approach. I'm an Afro-diasporic person from Martinique, and I like the sentence of Glissant when he start the story of, for example, Martinican people start when the boat leaves the coast. And in this way, I have like a very important rupture between Africa continent and Africa culture or Africa spirituality. And the resistance appear with the resistance of the movement, the resistance of some words in the Creole, or some knowledge. But all this knowledge, it's not like don't have like an archive. The archive is always the bodies, and it's another type of transmission, and that is also interesting. And the postula is simple. It's, for example, we have this beautiful example we share together is the apparition of the hip hop and the break dance, for example. And how, for example, some gesture can arrive or reappear like a transgenerational heritage or transgenerational trauma, and how the bodies can have like a memory of gesture and how this gesture can reappear. That was really interesting, and I'm more in this part. And for example, we have this dance of fighting in Martinique called damier, for example, and we can find some echo. And for understand damier, maybe it can be interesting to understand more capoeira in Brazil. and we can find some echo, and we can start to discuss. And my approach is that it's okay. What happened in Martinique? I need to understand more. What happened in Guadeloupe, for example? The damier not exist in Guadeloupe, have only 70 kilometers distance of water, and the story is totally different. What happened in the history or the colonial history, it's totally different with 70 kilometers. What happened in St. Lucia? What happened in Dominique? What happened, I don't know, in Cuba? What happened in Haiti? What happened in Republic Dominican? What happened in United States? What happened in this place or in this place? And yes, it's about try to understand the connection and how new possibility arrive, and also I like a certain idea of technology, and I like what's internet, the apparition of internet offer us like a opportunity to extend the imaginary or reconnect or reduce the distance with the knowledge also. And I'm from this generation. Yes.
I think this is probably a good place to wind down, unless that last question, I think, takes us to the end of the evening. I want to thank you both very much again for joining us this evening and for sharing your work with us this evening. Let's thank Julien and Aguibou.